Number one, the church model of education is outdated. For those who don't know, the first schools in America were started by the churches. Public school actually grew out of church school, Sunday school. Those were the first public schools. And as you can tell, it still has the same model. The preacher is at the front, everyone sits and listens. The teacher is at the front, everyone sits and listens. Any cognitive neuroscientist, any child developmental psychologist will tell you that is not conducive to the natural development of a child. A child has to get up. A child has to move. A child has to interact to learn, especially a black child. But public schools are organized based on an effeminate type of instruction. Girls can sit still a whole lot longer than boys can. A lot of girls can handle the church lecture model of public education. Boys cannot. So in my schools, education will be dynamic. Not only will the teacher be teaching, the boys will be teaching. The girls will be teaching. The best way to test mastery of a subject is to have them give a lesson to the entire class. Assignments and activities have to be interactive. I don't want them sitting at a desk. I want them up and I want them moving. I want the energy flowing. I want the spirit moving. That's how children learn, not sitting there falling asleep, okay? Boredom is one of the biggest problems with public school. The teachers are not innovative. They don't use their imagination. They're simply there to get through the school day, and they want everybody to sit still and be absolutely quiet. And if you can't sit still and be quiet, they want to give you drugs, okay? Any teacher in my school who even brings up drugs will be fired. Teachers will know. The only psychologist in this building is me. And if there's going to be any drugging, it's going to come through me. And since I don't believe in it, there won't be no drugging. Do your job and stop trying to get the psychiatrist to give you an excuse not to teach. Now, the 6 subjects that must be taught, I mentioned them yesterday. Number 1, 6 sciences. And as the Honorable Marcus Garvey taught us, our race can only be saved through spirituality and science. The first is the science of family and relationships. Boys need to be taught how to treat women. Women need to be taught how to treat the sisters, and we have to be taught how to maintain the family. So the science of family and relationships, which is something that needs to be taught by the elders, will be critical. Political and military science, so we understand the here and now, the circumstances under which we live. Yes, our children will be taught about Egypt, but Egyptology has become a religion, and it has lost a lot of its worth because we're simply worshiping Egypt, but we're not trying to do anything about here and now. King Tut is fine and good. Ramses is fine and good. The mystery systems is fine and good. At Boussambel, Nile Valley, all that's great. But guess what? We don't live back then. This is not 5,000 years ago. We are in 2011 and we catching hell, and studying Ramses is not helping our kids eat. It's not helping them gain employment. It's not helping us build industries or institutions. So I don't want to hear a damn thing else about some pharaoh. All due respect to my Egypt people. Number 3, agricultural science. How to grow food, how to grow crops. If the supermarkets closed down today, how would we get fed? We would starve to death because we do not grow our own food. We have black farmers, so black farmers would be critical to the entire curriculum of agricultural science because our children will have to do what? Field work. That's right. We will send our children out to the black farmers, and they will have to learn on the job how to plant, how to harvest, how to grow, the whole 9 yards. Then there's number 4, the science of economics and international finance. We just don't want corner stores. We want to come up with powerful multinational conglomerates. We want to know how to do what? Refine diamonds, refine oil. We want to know how to dig gas. We want to know how to test for natural resources. We're talking about economic domination. Black people have to be focused on economic domination, not no damn handouts from the World Bank, not no handouts from the International Monetary Fund. We have to be focused on economic domination. Aren't you tired of serving? Aren't you tired of being a slave? Aren't you tired of having white folk tell you what you can and you can't do? Well, guess what? You got to get power. You got to get scientific power and militaristic power. Number 5 is spiritual science, not religion, but spiritual science. The reason why black people are so damn miserable, depressed, the reason why we on all these damn drugs is we have lost our connection to the supreme reality, supreme consciousness, supreme ruler of the universe, whatever you want to call it. Spiritual science is essential for us to maximize our intellectual potential. The reason why, one lesson we can take, and there's a few, but one lesson we can take from the great Nile Valley civilizations was that there can be no strong economic and political development if there is no strong spiritual development. But they must take place simultaneously. The economic and the politics are not going to wait until we got the spiritual thing together, and the spiritual thing is not going to wait while we got the economic and political thing building. One of our problems in the black community is we keep trying to tackle one problem at a time. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with nation, you cannot do that. When you're dealing with yourself, you can do that. But when you're dealing with nation, you can do that. A child is not going to wait to eat, okay, until after he learned about spirituality. It doesn't work that way. Somebody's spiritual development is not going to wait until they learn how to plant and grow food. Somebody's desire to learn how to defend their nation is not going to wait until, they understand economic empowerment. So all these things have to take place simultaneously. The nation is a multifaceted operation. So all the sciences are taught. And the sixth science that every child must be taught is the science of diet and nutrition. What to eat, how it impacts your body, and how do we get back to when we used to live on average 120 years prior to the slave trade. So those are the six sciences, and I know of no African school in the world. I know of no African school in the world that teaches all six of these sciences to our children. And that's why the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Pan-African School for Black boys and girls is going to be the first one to do it. And to get back to Sister Erica's question as to how we'll finance it, the best way to finance it is to create self-sustaining economic enterprises or industries in this community so that we will be able to fund the schools. That way parents don't have to overburden themselves with the expenses. But unfortunately, until we condition black people to stop spending most of what they earn instead of saving it or donating it to a worthy purpose such as this, parents will have to dig in their pockets. But guess what? As long as we can pay for cable, and as long as we can pay for iPads, and as long as we can go to the concerts, and as long as we can buy Beyonce's latest DVD, and as long as we can fly with our girlfriends to vacations and go to the nightclubs and drive $60,000 cars, guess what? We can pay for our children's education also.
That's right. That's right.